scar to her left cheek as a result of this incident.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Miss Ellis's mother testified that she recalled seeing the scar after this incident. Miss Ellis's mother testified that she saw changes in her daughter after this incident. Same with Miss Ellis's grandmother, Diane Schmidt. She also testified that she recalled seeing the scar after this incident, and that she noticed a marked difference in Miss Ellis after the incident. That's her granddaughter. The defense put on a Dr. Rosenberg, who was a hired gun, received $40,000 for this case, and makes millions of dollars
Objection,
in this
Your
type
Honor.
of work.
Sustained.
He criticized the Kaiser Hospital for not writing down that Miss Ellis had emotional injuries when
Objection, Your Honor. Misstates the testimony.
Overruled.
when Miss Ellis went to Kaiser Permanente for vaginal discharge in 2022. Dr. Rosenberg testified that there was an inconsistency when Miss Ellis went to Kaiser and didn't tell them about her emotional injuries. Why I'm bringing this up is very simple. When someone goes to an orthopedic surgeon, they don't talk about dental injuries. When someone goes to a gynecologist, they don't talk about emotional injuries. What really happens is when someone goes to a psychologist or psychiatrist, they tell them about their emotional injuries. When someone goes to a dentist, they tell them about their broken teeth. When someone goes to an orthopedic surgeon, they tell them about their neck pain, their back pain, their left foot pain, left ankle pain. This idea that every time you go to a doctor, no matter what specialty, you have to cover all these things is not real. It's not real life. Some of the doctors will even say, don't tell me, I don't want to know. I'm not writing it down.
Sustained. Let's stick to what the evidence shows.
Yes, sir. We've all gone to doctors, and we all know when we go to a specialist, we'll focus on why we're there. Miss Ellis went to Kaiser Permanente Hospital for vaginal discharge in 2022, and different things throughout her time there. She didn't go there for emotional injuries. She didn't go to the psychiatric care there. She didn't get any psychological care there. None of that. So for Dr. Rosenberg to sit there and tell us there's inconsistencies because in Kaiser she didn't tell him about the emotional injuries, it just doesn't make sense. I want to talk a little bit more about Miss Malcolm. So I just want to remind you that when Miss Malcolm came out, 40 to 50 seconds had already transpired. She came to the aftermath. I know I've already said that, but I really want to hammer this home, that she is not a witness to what happened before. It's like a car accident. There's two cars, they have an accident. If a third car comes down the road a minute later and hits them, it's completely different. It has nothing to do with it. So that was inserted into this case, in a sense, to muddy the waters, to kind of cloud what really happened. What really happened here in this case is Miss Ellis was working as a security guard. She had to be there. She was working there as a security guard. And Cardi B came along and thought she's above the law. She could do and say whatever she wants and attack Miss Ellis emotionally, physically, and do whatever she wants in a building which is inappropriate. We all know that when we go to a building, you got to be respectful, especially to security guards that are working there. These are not just doormen or doorwomen opening the door for you. You have to follow along with what they say.
Overruled.
Next, we heard from Dr. Finke. Want to talk about inconsistencies? There was an inconsistency between Malcolm and Finke. Malcolm said, I don't know how I got this scratch on my forehead. I don't know. Dr. Finke comes out and says that Malcolm told him that Ellis had scratched her face. That's not true. That was never said. So this, if you remember, this is a 7.5-year-old incident, and that's few thousand days ago. It takes a lot of time has passed, and an incident can be perceived differently by different people. So Miss Malcolm could have perceived it one way, and Dr. Finke could have perceived it one way. But again, same problem with him is when he came, everything had already been done. The whole incident already happened. The injury was already complete. And really this comes down to believing Miss Ellis. He gave you no reason not to. She's been truthful through me and through herself and through her witnesses to give you whatever is there, to provide for you all that she could with the things that she has available to her, so that you could give her the peace of mind, the closure, and yes, she is asking to be compensated for the loss that she sustained. She lost something and by Cardi B, and Cardi B needs to pay for that and needs to be accountable. We need to hold her accountable. We should not just let her walk away and say, oh, everything you did was okay, and yeah, do it again. Now, in addition to seeing the two plastic surgeons and Dr. McKinsey, Miss Ellis also received another 12 visits of, she testified that she saw a psychologist, Dr. Avila, and other
Objection, Your Honor.
people in his office.
Violation of the court's order.
Move on, Counsel.
The other thing that Cardi B failed to do, or could have done, is she could have filed a cross-complaint.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
All right, and then I want to go over a little bit about the medical bills. So you don't have to get it exact, doesn't have to be an exact number, but there was testimony in this case that Miss Ellis had $17,500 in medical bills from Dr. Mulliken, the plastic surgeon, and another $18,000 in psychological care through her work comp and other things.
Objection, Your Honor. No evidence of that.
Sustained.
There was also testimony from Dr. Mulliken that he believed Miss Ellis could benefit from one more surgical procedure, another one, to make it better. The cost of that was $15,000.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
The $15,000 that would be paid for that would, in Dr. Mulliken's expert opinion, it would make the scar better, meaning it would reduce, basically what I'm saying is there's still some scar on her face. And if you want to look at it, you're more than welcome. You can have her walk around, you can look at it for yourself. There is still some scar on her face. It's still there, and it still bothers her. So that's why I'm asking that not only you give her the $17,500 in her past medical bills for the scar, that you give her another $15,000 for the future scar revision treatment. She didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve to be scratched and cut and spit on and all these things. All of the things that happened to Miss Ellis are they're wrong. And we want to make this wrong right. And how can we do that? Through each one of you. You have the power to make this wrong right and close the books for Miss Ellis so she can move on with her life as much as she possibly could. And yes, the only way to do that right now for today's purposes is to reimburse her for the losses that she sustained. Those are the medical bills, the past, and the future. The other thing that is an important way of compensating Miss Ellis is for her pain and suffering. In every case where there's medical bills and there's medical damages, component of that is pain and suffering. There is really no way, there's no exact math to that. So for instance, if you said, I want to give her the $17,500, I want to give her the $15,000, and I want to give her another $250,000 for pain and suffering. You are allowed to do that. It is a number that you can come up with. During the 7.5 years that she's been suffering, you may say, I would like to give her $100 a day. For 1 year, that's $36,000. And for 7 years, that comes up to $270,000. We're not looking for millions of dollars like the defendant said. That's not what we're looking for. We're really looking for a simple amount of money that can make her whole, give her something that's fair so she can